Yo, let's be real, the rap game can be straight up dangerous, man. It's a world where the stakes are high and the risks are even higher. We talking about a world where talent and fame can get you killed. It's a harsh reality that many don't see until it's too late. Too many times we've seen our favorite artists taken out in their prime. They were more than just musicians. They were voices of a generation. It's heartbreaking, and it's a damn shame. These artists had dreams, families, and futures that were stolen from them. This ain't no joke, folks. The loss is felt deeply, not just by their families, but by the entire community. We lost Tupac, Biggie, Big L, Jam Master Jay, and so many others who had so much more to give. The list goes on and on. Each name represents a story cut short, a legacy unfulfilled. These were icons, legends who changed the game. Their influence is still felt today in every beat and rhyme. They had so much more to give, so many more rhymes to spit, so many more beats to bless us with. Their creativity knew no bounds, but their lives were cut short, snuffed out by the violence that seems to plague the hip-hop world. It's a cycle that needs to be broken. These murders sent shockwaves through the culture. The pain and loss are felt worldwide. It's like a dark cloud hanging over hip-hop, a reminder that even the biggest stars aren't safe. The fear is real and it's ever present. We gotta ask ourselves, why? Why is this happening? What can we do to stop it? Why are so many talented young people being gunned down in the streets? It's a question that demands answers. This ain't about glorifying violence, nah. It's about finding solutions and making changes. This is about understanding the real danger that comes with being a hip-hop artist. It's about protecting our future stars. It's about time we address this issue head-on. We owe it to the artists we've lost and the ones still here. Being a rapper ain't just about spitting rhymes and making beats. It's a lifestyle, a culture that comes with its own set of risks. And let's be honest, folks, the streets ain't no joke. Jealousy, beefs, and straight-up hate can turn deadly real quick. We see it time and time again. Rappers flashing cash, jewelry, living that lavish life. It attracts attention, both good and bad, and sometimes that attention can be fatal. It's a sad reality, but it's the truth. Then there's the pressure, man, the pressure to stay relevant, to keep churning out hits, to maintain that street cred. It can be overwhelming, especially for young artists coming up in the game. Some turn to violence, thinking it's the only way to survive. We gotta do better, y'all. We gotta protect our own. We gotta break this cycle of violence that's claiming too many lives. It's time for a change, for real. Now, we can't talk about violence in hip-hop without mentioning the two biggest names, Tupac Shakur and the notorious Big. These two legends were taken from us way too soon, victims of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry that was spiraling out of control. Tupac, the outspoken revolutionary poet from Cali, was gunned down in Vegas back in '96. He was only 25 years old at the top of his game. The case remains unsolved, shrouded in mystery and conspiracy theories. Then, just 6 months later, Biggie, the lyrical genius from Brooklyn, was shot and killed in LA. He was only 24. Again, the case remains unsolved, fueling the fire of speculation and suspicion. These murders sent shockwaves through the entire world, man. It was like hip-hop lost its innocence that year. The violence became too real, too close to home. It was a wake-up call for everyone. But the violence ain't just an East Coast-West Coast thing. Down south, it's the same story, different city. We lost Camouflage in Savannah, Georgia, and Soulja Slim in New Orleans. Both talented artists taken before their time. Camouflage, known for his gritty street rhymes, was shot and killed in 2003 at just 21 years old. He was pushing his daughter in a stroller when someone opened fire, proving that even the most innocent bystanders are at risk. Soulja Slim, the voice of New Orleans, was murdered in 2003 at the age of 27. He was known for his raw lyrics and hardcore delivery, reflecting the harsh realities of life in the NOLA streets. These murders highlighted the dangers facing Southern rappers, proving that no matter where you're from, the threat of violence is real. It's a harsh reminder that the streets don't discriminate. Section 5. New York's Fallen Stars, Freaky Tah, and Chinx Drugz. Back in New York, the Concrete Jungle claimed 2 more victims, Freaky Tah and Chinx Drugz, both of whom left an indelible mark on the hip-hop community. Both rising stars from Queens and the Bronx, respectively, they were making noise in the game before their lives were tragically cut short, leaving fans and fellow artists in shock. Freaky Tah, a member of the hip-hop group Lost Boys, was shot and killed in 1999 at the age of 27. His death was a significant loss to the hip-hop world. He was known for his smooth flow and catchy hooks, a stark contrast to the violence that ultimately took his life. His legacy, however, continues to influence new generations of artists. Chinx Drugz, affiliated with French Montana's Coke Boys crew, was ambushed and killed in 2015 at the age of 31. His potential was undeniable, and his loss was deeply felt. He was on the verge of mainstream success, proving that even when you're on the cusp of making it, danger can still lurk around the corner, ready to strike without warning. These murders shook the New York hip-hop scene, reminding everyone that the streets are always watching, always waiting to claim another victim. The community's grief was palpable, and the call for change grew louder. It's a cycle of violence that seems to have no end, a harsh reality that continues to plague the streets of New York and the hip-hop community at large. Section 6. From Philly to LA. PNB Rock's untimely end. PNB Rock's death was a gut punch, man. It felt like the world lost a bright star too soon. Here's a dude who came up from Philly, grinding his way to the top with his melodic flow and heartfelt lyrics. He was a voice for many, sharing his struggles and triumphs through his music. He found success in LA, but tragedy struck him down in broad daylight. The city that gave him so much also became the place where his life was tragically cut short. In 2022, while dining with his girlfriend at a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in South LA, PNB Rock was robbed and fatally shot. It was a shocking and senseless act of violence. He was only 30 years old. His life and career were just beginning to flourish. The senselessness of his murder sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and beyond. Fans, friends, and fellow artists were left in disbelief and mourning. What makes this case even more tragic is that PNB Rock was targeted for his jewelry. The very symbols of his success became the reason for his untimely demise. He was flashing his ice on social media, which unfortunately made him a target. It's a stark reminder of the dangers that come with fame and visibility. It's a harsh reminder that in this game, even showing off your success can have deadly consequences. The line between celebration and danger is thin. PNB Rock's death sparked a conversation about the responsibility of rappers to be mindful of their safety and the image they portray online. It's a wake-up call for the entire community. It's a difficult conversation, but one that needs to be had. The hope is that through these discussions, future tragedies can be prevented, and artists can find a way to celebrate their success safely. Section 7. East Coast Bloodshed. Push Almighty's story. Push. Almighty, a rising rapper from Wilmington, North Carolina, was another victim of senseless gun violence. He was making a name for himself with his gritty street tales and raw talent. But his promising career was cut short in 2014 when he was shot and killed at the age of 24. His murder, like so many others, remains unsolved. It's a grim reminder that even in smaller cities, the dangers of being a hip-hop artist are all too real. The streets don't care about your talent, your dreams, or your potential. Push Almighty's death, like so many others, highlights the need for change. We need to address the root causes of violence in our communities, provide opportunities for young people, and create a culture of peace and respect. Here's the thing, folks. Sometimes the biggest threat ain't from strangers in the streets, but from people you know, people you trust. We've seen too many cases where rappers were betrayed by their own friends, family, or crew. Jealousy, envy, greed. These emotions can turn even the closest confidant into an enemy. It's a cold, hard truth that many rappers have learned the hard way. That's why it's crucial for artists to surround themselves with a tight-knit circle of loyal individuals. People who have their best interests at heart, not just their own selfish motives. Trust is a valuable commodity in this game, and it's often in short supply. Let's be real. Fame comes with a price, especially in the hip-hop world. The more successful you become, the bigger the target on your back. It's a double-edged sword that many artists struggle to navigate. The flashy cars, the expensive jewelry, the lavish lifestyle, it all attracts attention, and not always the good kind. Some people see success as an invitation to take what you have, even if it means resorting to violence. It's a harsh reality that many rappers have to accept. They need to be aware of their surroundings, take precautions to protect themselves, and avoid putting themselves in vulnerable situations. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines, the sensationalism, the gossip. But we gotta remember that behind every murder, there's a real person, a family, a community that's hurting. These ain't just names on a list, folks. These are sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, friends, and loved ones. They had dreams, aspirations, and a whole lot of life left to live. We gotta honor their memory by addressing the issue of violence in our communities. We gotta break the cycle of poverty, lack of opportunity, and despair that leads to so much pain and suffering. This ain't about glorifying violence or perpetuating stereotypes. This is about acknowledging a serious problem and demanding change. We can't keep losing our young people to senseless acts of violence. We need to invest in our communities, provide opportunities for education, job training, and conflict resolution. We need to create a culture of peace and respect, where violence is never the answer. It's time for hip-hop to use its platform to amplify these messages of hope and change. We need to protect our own, uplift our communities, and break the cycle of violence that has plagued us for far too long. This is a call to action, folks. Let's make a difference.